Friends, we've done it. We've made it through another year, another church year, that is. Another year in the midst of untold global change. Today is the end of the church year. The liturgical year that begins on the first Sunday of Advent, the first Sunday that will be next Sunday when we light the candle for hope and begin to anticipate the coming of the Christmas promise. In every beginning, there is an ending. And today is the end of Church Year B, the second of the 3-year cycle of Scripture reading that helps us make sure we hear the majority of Scripture every 3 years. Today, the end of the church year is commonly called Reign of Christ Sunday, or you may remember it from other traditions as being called Christ the King Sunday, or the Reign of God Sunday. And on this Sunday, before joining the ox and lamb to keep time as the labor pains intensify and as God approaches, this Sunday remembers the one who is, who was, and who is to come. This Sunday is the Omega to next Sunday's Alpha. This Sunday is the triumph of Easter, that Christ lives, that God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. There is peace on earth, as soon we'll hear the bells toll. This Sunday, today, is about the realm of God that knows no ending. And this is a joyful celebration, a Sunday about the impossibility of life and of life everlasting. This is a Sunday about mystery, when all we can see is certainty. This is a day where we bring all of our challenges, all of our fears, all of our anxieties, all of the unknown, and we lay this at the feet of God and say, over to you. You, great mystery. You alone are in charge. We worship and adore you. We thank you. We praise you. Next Sunday begins Church Year C. We will light the first candle in our Advent wreaths. If you're at home, you'll need to dust one off or get creative this week. We will have one here in the sanctuary again this year. And we will light the first candle, the one we call for hope, in these wreaths. We will start the count toward the birth of Jesus through the love of Mary. And together we will start searching the sky for the signs and the portents, as the gospel writers tell, of what is to come. The scriptures for Advent are apocalyptic. They point to the end times as their own way of bringing everything, their everything, to the throne of God and saying, over to you. Advent is perhaps the most countercultural thing we do as the church each year. Advent is tied to Lent. They're the seasons of penitence, of confession, of soul-searching, and of preparation. They're tied together, Lent and Advent, as these two penitential seasons, and they're tied even with their color. When we switch these pennants to purple or blue next week, we remember Lent. Now, Lent is perhaps the better-known penitential season, and it is for those of us in the northern hemisphere, at least, perhaps easier to follow. March is the cruelest month. Why not remember our death right there along with everything else? And everyone loves Easter and daffodils and lilies and trumpets. Resurrection is easy on bright spring days. Christmas comes at the darkest point of the year, and it is a bright, bright day for all of us. And so bright is Christmas that many folks simply can't wait. For some, Christmas decorations are already up, lights are lit, cheer is happening. Our culture likes to make Christmas a month-long celebration throughout all of December. Church, though, says not so fast. Church says 4 Sundays, just 4, but 4, are needed to prepare. And we begin with hope. We add peace. We celebrate joy, and we remember love in order to right our own houses first and to get ourselves ready for the coming light of the world. When society around us is already pulling out all the Christmas stops, Advent followers have an opportunity to sink into the deepness of preparation. And this is what our scripture will tell us over the next 4 weeks. On the other hand, it's been a pandemic and life has been hard, so by all means, go ahead and haul out the holly if you want. We can all use a little Christmas right this very minute if you need it. And in the midst of the ending today that is the beginning of next Sunday, in the midst of these 2 Sundays, is personally my favorite holiday. It's the American one. It's not an unproblematic one, but a day of national thanksgiving is one I wholeheartedly support and love and endorse. Gratitude is necessary, so necessary every day. But this Thursday's celebration takes us deeper into what it means to be grateful. It gives us time with friends and family, if we are lucky, to be grateful together and to let it sink in deeply. Today we celebrate the reign of God. Next week we turn to the sky and look for the coming of heaven to earth itself. On Thursday, we call ourselves to attention to the present moment. We may sit with friends and family. Some of us may cook elaborate feasts. Some of us may order takeout. I hope many of us will offer some act of kindness or generosity to those with less among us. All of us can be thankful for who we are and who God created us to be. Now, there is much work to be done to heal this world, and let us all be thankful for the life that we have. If we know anything about justice, we know it is far from done. If we know anything about church, we know it is always changing. If we know anything about wisdom, we know it begins with humility and with curiosity for all that we don't know. There is such ministry for all of us to be doing. There is helping to lessen the struggles that burden our friends, walking together, carrying loads with one another. And there is also the very real work of trying not to heap anything more on anyone else. There is the taking stock of ourselves, of what we say and what we do, and of striving to be the church that Jesus taught and imagines with us. So much to do here. How good it is to remember this Sunday's promise that Christ alone reigns supreme, that God is in charge, that Christmas is coming, that giving thanks is a means of grace. 3 holidays or holiday season, 3 themes of this day. I bring to you this abundance of holidays. Which do you need most today? Should I pass the potatoes or the stuffing first? Do you need a celebration of the reign of God? Or do you need the still small hope that comes next week when we light only one candle? Or do you need a day of quiet reflection? A day in your own house or the house of someone you love to give thanks to the Lord our God? Apple, pumpkin, or lemon meringue, which pie do you want? Go ahead, take a little sliver of each. For today you have options. Choose your own adventure. Celebrate the divine in your life. Look to the stars for the world that will soon change. Count your blessings and give thanks. And above all, praise. For this were we born. For this and for this day were we all born.